In this video, I'm going to share with you a powerful technique to help get you out of debt. Now, I don't know whether you have all sorts of little debts spread around all over the place, a variety of horrendous debts, one big debt somewhere, but this video is most helpful for people who have got perhaps a credit card debt somewhere, an HP debt somewhere, perhaps a loan on a car, and are sometimes struggling to keep making the payments. Like, you know the situation, you've got money coming in and you look at what's paid into your account, you then think, well, I've got to pay this debt and this loan and this bill, and by the time you've done all that, it doesn't feel like you're getting any further forward. So if you're in a situation where you've got a number of debts, perhaps you're making the minimum payment each month, you're paying what's required, so those particular companies they're comfortable with you, but you don't feel you're getting any further forward. You don't feel you're seeing those debts reduce. And at the end of the month, you've just got a small amount of money, you're trying to make better payments to clear these loans. It can feel quite desperate, can't it? It can feel like you just can't move forward on this. Well, that's what I'm going to share with you in this video to give you a helping hand to start to get you out of debt. Listen, the ideas that I'm sharing with you in this video absolutely have worked for me, and I've seen them work and not work with hundreds of other people. And if you're thinking of trying any of these ideas, you should consult a professional. Now, for this video, to make this process clear, I'm going to use some sample numbers. And this is just an example, so your numbers may be very, very different. Your situation, I'm sure, is different. But the process I'm going to share with you has absolutely helped many, many people. So as I explain this to you, take a look and see whether or not you could see this working in your situation. Now let's assume you've got three loans, three debts that you've got to pay. And the three amounts are £500, £1,500 and £5,000. And let's further assume that the interest rates on all of these three are pretty similar. If one of the rates was very, very high, the strategy might be slightly different. But for now, let's assume the interest rates on these three are about the same. And let's also assume that you're able to make the minimum payment for each of these three. In other words, every month your money comes in, you pay for everything in your life that you need to pay for, and then you pay the minimum against these loans. So the companies are happy with you, they're not chasing you for payment, but equally they're not seeing the debt go down, which might lead to an occasional call or contact from them to see you to pay a little bit more. Just to further explain this, you've got to spare £50 per month. That's it. So after paying everything else off, you've got £50. Now the problem is, and many people have been in this situation and found exactly the same, what do you do with that £50? If you spread it over the three debts, you don't really see any improvement. You don't see the debts go down. So sometimes what we do is we give that payment to whoever shouts the loudest. So it might be the £500 loan one month, and the next month it's the £5,000 loan. You owe us this money, we want to see the debts go down. And of course in other months you're really struggling because perhaps you have an expensive month, or maybe none of them call, so you think, oh great, I've got a bit of spare money this month, I'll spend it on something I want. But I want you to start to see this a bit differently. What we're going to do is what's called a debt snowball. And this is by far one of the most powerful ways to not only systematically bash your debt into complete oblivion and get you debt free, but it will also help you powerfully, mentally, to see this whole process for what it is. So here's what you're going to do. Let's stay with that example. You've got £50 spare a month. And what you're going to do is you're going to overpay just the smallest debt. In this case, £500. Now here's the thing. Every time you get any spare money into your life, by spare money, I mean money you weren't expecting. If you're sat on your sofa one evening watching Britain's Got Talent and you find a fiver down the back of the sofa, that does not go into your pocket. That now goes against this debt, the smallest debt. If your mate down the pub gives you that 20 quid you've been waiting for months on end, straight to this debt. And what you'll start to create is a bit of forward momentum. Both the maths of the loan will show that you're now paying down this debt. You're starting to see it reduce. You just keep paying in money against it. But more importantly, this will help you because you will now start to see some progress. Rather than just spreading £50 around over these three different debts, you're actually targeting this one debt. And because it's the smallest, you'll see improvement and you'll get to the end far, far quicker. Now here's the thing. Because you're doing this and because you're overpaying, you will actually be now reducing the debt in a quicker time. And when you get to the end of it, guess what? Well, like the name says, like a snowball, you're going to roll up the money you've been paying. You remember the additional £50 plus what you were paying on a minimum payment to the £500 debt, and you're going to pay both of these now into the next size debt. In this example, £1,500. So you can see that you're now starting to get more power. This is starting to help you. This is putting you back in control, not the people constantly asking for the debts to be repaid. You're now in control of this. So you now pay all of this money into that second level debt. And of course, once you've cleared that one, you've got a whole great big debt snowball to start attacking the biggest debt. That's the base model, that's the debt snowball. That, in short, will help put you back in control and reduce and eventually remove those debts from your life. But I did say there were some slightly different circumstances, and I'd like you to consider these. So it might be that one of the loans has a much, much higher interest rate. Well, I'm hoping you'll understand that if that's the situation, that is probably the debt you want to be going for first. If it's considerably higher, you do need to attack that. Second, some loans, for example mortgages, have fees associated with overpaying. That doesn't mean you can't overpay, but you just want to check with the lender before you overpay. Otherwise, that could undo all your good work. Key to everything that I've just been explaining, make sure you check your particular circumstances. But the process I've just explained to you absolutely works. It's helped many, many people before, and I'm sure it could help you too. And that's it. It's as simple as that. What we're looking at here is called the debt snowball. And as you start to do this, you'll start to find, and many people have told me this previously, you'll start to feel a little bit more in control. A little bit more power over the whole situation, slightly less hopeless that you have no control over this. And so I might ask you just to consider moving forward. Do you want to go back into debt, or are you happier not being in debt? Start to consider before you make any major purchase. Is this something you want, or is this something you need? Look, I really hope this video has been of use to you. I hope it's helped. If it has, please like, please comment, and please consider subscribing.